hey, have you been wondering whether or not that Team Taco, those fake-ass Patriot Trump supporters, are actually guardians of pedophiles, the GOP? I was wondering, I've been wondering that for a while. I kind of already knew, you know what I mean? You can tell by the way that it is. But anyway, somebody else was wondering about that same thing. So they conducted a survey on them. And they asked them, said, would you still support Donald F. and Trump if he was found to have been diddling little kids with Jeffrey Epstein? 47% of them said, yeah, they would. It didn't matter to them. They'd still support him, even if he was diddling little kids with Jeffrey Epstein, even if they knew it. 47% of them said, yep, they'd still support him. But now another 26% said that they choose not to answer. They don't want to answer that question, which means, yeah, they would too. Now, the remainder of them just said they would have to reconsider, they'd have to reconsider that. They might have to go look for somebody else. So to answer the question, are they guardians of pedophiles? Sort of, because they are guarding up on some pedophiles there with, Donald F. and Trump and his cover up with his whole connection with Jeffrey Epstein. But they actually are a group of pedophiles. That's what they are, a group of pedophiles. See, because they vote right alongside some Christian nationalists who want to, lower the age of marriage to little girls to 12 years old, right along a bunch of damn Nazis that pretty much prefer to do the same thing. So, yeah, that's what they are. So when surveyed about it, we already have the answer for it. Yep, that's exactly what they are. That's the reason why they got real quiet whenever they started watching Donald F. and Trump cover all this stuff up with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, is because they were like, well, all that we talked about Democrats looks like it's us, so we might as well just keep our mouths shut about it and say, look over here, let's do Obamagate, let's do a bunch of bullcrap that don't make no sense. That's what they're doing. Because they're disingenuous, dishonest, disgusting filth. That's what they are, a bunch of damn Nazis. So anyway, so we have the answer to that question there. And meanwhile, though, hey, Team Taco, you fake-ass patriots, guardians of pedophiles, group of pedophiles. Look, I thought we was concerned about the economy and stuff, y'all, the prices and all. Y'all don't seem to be concerned about that either. But that's right, because you turned around and said it's patriotic now to pay higher prices because our dear orange Jesus is up there pretending to be president, squatting up in the White House, turning it into a trap house and a pill mill like he did last time. So it's the patriotic thing to do. So things must be real patriotic for you right now since, like ground beef is like $6 a pound, Hey, the value of the dollar has lost 10% since Krasnov has been pretending to be president again. 10%. What that means is, look, it's just math. If you had $1, that dollar's only worth 90 cents now. Yep, that's what Krasnov has done to the dollar in just 7 months. He's devalued it by 10%. I know you want to point at that stock market and say, well, it's up there. It's 45,000 points. No, you got to think about that 10%. Essentially, it's lost 4,500 points just because he's devalued the dollar that far. See? So, anyway, the economy's sucking for all of us, y'all, and you too. But it's patriotic now to pay higher price. I'm not feeling real patriotic about paying them higher prices there, Team Taco. I don't think you are either, but you have to say that because you're in an effing cult, But something else too, you need to be paying attention to. Krasnov wants those interest rates lowered. He's definitely not an economist because he don't understand how the economy works, or he's trying to manipulate the economy. That's what I bet he's trying to manipulate something out of it. See, because he needs those interest rates lowered for some reason, even though that, we're seeing inflation. You don't lower in interest rates during inflation. You just don't do that. And he's causing some of this inflation with his, his trade war and all that. So, anyway, he's got over $100 million invested into these financial institutions, all kinds of financial institutions out there. And guess what happens if he gets Jerome Powell to lower those interest rates? He makes billions of dollars. Yeah, he'll make billions of dollars off of his investments there by buying up these bonds there for these financial institutions. Yeah, he'll make himself billions of dollars. That's why that he needs interest rates lowered. He says the economy be damned, knowing that if the interest rates are lowered, inflation's going to skyrocket. So he's telling all of us we need to pay more patriotic prices for him so that he can make billions of dollars. There, Team Taco. That's the corrupt son of a bitch you put in the White House again. So that's what he's doing there, even though he's already made billions already in the 7 months that he's been in there. And you're talking about, well, he don't need to take a salary. He don't take a salary. That $400,000 a year don't mean a damn thing to him, okay? Now, if anybody else were doing that, Obama, Biden, y'all would have done lost your damn mind over it. But nope, not your orange Jesus. Nope, not that big orange, bloated, syphilis up, Adderall-riddled idiot. Nope, he can do anything he wants to, even if it hurts you. Yeah, that's because you're in an effing cult. Now, here's another thing that's going on. Look, Nebraska's going bankrupt, and so is Iowa. And so are some other red farmland states out there. Yeah, they're going bankrupt because, you know why? Donald Trump's trade war. That's why. That's why right there. See, because it ain't just because that they're losing all their migrant workers that go out there and pick them crops, so they're sitting there rotting in the ground. It ain't just because of that. It's also because we don't have countries out there buying these crops up. We were globalist because the world is a globe. It is a globe. No, it's not flat, Team Taco. It's a globe, okay? It actually is. Now, that globalist stuff, if we don't participate in it while the rest of the globe is doing it, we suffer. Yep, we suffer. Just like Nebraska and Iowa are finding out because they effed around again. But see, they should have known that. These farmers should have known that. They voted for that dumb son of a bitch last time, and they needed a bailout. We don't want a bailout. We want to be farmers. We don't want a bailout, but they took that bailout, didn't they? Hey, guess what they're doing now? Asking the government to give them another bailout. Yeah, they are. They're out there with their hand out saying, give us a bailout. When they were warned and they knew what happened to them last time, but they went out there and did it again. You know why? Because they're in an effing cult. They can't not do it. How are you going to tell your other farmer buddies, hey, I'm not voting for Donald F. and Trump? They'll kick you out of your farm friend circles. You might not even pick up a girl on onlyfarmers.com, So they was faced with those kind of problems there, So they went out there and voted for him again. Now they're going bankrupt, So they want them a bailout. They want a bailout. But, hey, they'll probably get one because Donald F. and Trump will have to give the money, because he screwed them over, But it ain't nobody else's fault but themselves. We tried to warn on them, but they were like, hey, we are farmers. Dum. That's why they did it. So, hey, look, Team Taco, you ain't winning nothing. I don't understand what all this winning is. It don't feel like winning to me. It feels like we're all losing together as he goes and dictators himself up there, federalizing up the Washington D.C.s. Hey, why do we have National Guard people out there with guns now? There ain't nobody out there criming. Why do they have to have guns? Hey, and they're not even into the scary places, They're up there in the safe places up by the Capitol and stuff. Just up there showing off. That's what it is. It's a show of force. Is to make all you dumbasses feel warm and tingly inside because you like our country looking like North Korea. Hey, if you like it so much, move your stupid asses to North Korea. Do that, all right? But see, he's trying to militarize up out there. He's going to send 1,700 to 19 different states. Now, I don't know if you can do any math. I'm pretty damn sure you don't know how to do math. And that ain't very many per state. That's maybe 80-something per state. He's going to send them people out there. He's sending it to a lot of red states. And I've seen some creators on the left saying, well, hey, them people are going to be uncomfortable. He's going to militarize the red states. No, that's not what he's doing, y'all. He's going to send them to the blue cities inside those red states. That's what he's doing. But what that tells you is he can only come up with 1,700. That's how many people are willing to do that stupid shit, okay? That's what that is. There was actually another survey conducted on the military. Only 8% said they would respond to any illegal orders from Donald F. and Trump. So good luck with that, Team Taco. Whenever the things start hitting the fan, y'all are effed, okay? I'm just going to let you know ahead of time. Whenever you start getting what you think you've been wanting, it's over for y'all, all right? Oh, and by the way, Team Taco, I don't know if you've noticed, Krasnov, them big old cankles he's got there that he tries to hide, he wears these high-top shoes there. It's because he's trying to suck all of it in, He's trying to suck it all in there like a foot girdle, Just suck it all in there so you can't see it. We can still see it. I mean, I'm half blind. I'm mostly blind. I can zoom in on those cankles and, man, the skin skirts hanging over the tops of them shoes. Hey, that ain't good. That dude right there is all bloated up. You ain't seen that? He can't even button his shirt up no more. If you take the makeup off of him, Oh man, he looks dead already, y'all. He already looks dead. You know what he looks like? He looks like a body that was found floating in the river for the last 6 days. You know, that's what he looks like. That's what he looks like. So he's got 1 foot in the grave already. That's why he was sitting there thinking about on the Fox Faking News is how he can get to heaven. You know, he ain't going there. He ain't going to be going there. Now, if he was really serious about going there, you know what he would do? He would be helping the homeless, feeding the poor. He'd be doing stuff like that, not giving all of our money to billionaires and militarizing up the streets and trying to figure out how to kill a bunch of Americans. You know, that's what he's trying to do right now. So if he wanted to get to heaven, he'd try to figure out how to help people. Like Jesus said, little brown hippie baby Jesus, he needs to go listen to his message, okay? He's on the wrong side, you know. So anyway, the whole economy's screwed because of Donald F. and Trump, okay? But, hey, good news is he does have 1 foot in the grave, and we're watching that dumb son of a bitch die in slow motion right now. So that should make everybody's Tuesday a whole lot brighter. Inmate Trump.